as usual, I'm partway into a damn project before I've started a video. I may have posted one of when I just picked this up. I haven't done a lot on it. I cleaned up the electronics. I may have actually videoed all that and just never posted it. So now it's in the basement. Badly water damaged wood. It's all swung up. It looks like 2 layers of 3/4 inch. So pretty simple. Square it off. Cut some plywood, some dowels, some glue. Not rocket science here, but I picked this thing up for, I think it was $100. So a good price. This is filthy, but I should be able to heat gun it off to about here. And then I can scab in a piece. I'm going to do all 3 of these pieces, the 2 sides and the front, at different heights. I don't want to seam all the way around. This one will be easy to hide. I'm going to use the heat gun. I got it pulled up most of the way, but if I can get another few inches here, not even filming myself. If I can get another few inches here, that would be great. And, you know, these bumps here are from the wood. So if I can get that off, I'm just going to use some hot water for right now. Maybe a little bit of steam. And then I'm going to use some spray glue and roll it back down. But once that's clean, all these bumps you're seeing here in that cut will, I think with some heat, that's going to go away. And then it's just going to be some cleanup. The sides, I'm thinking of a few different things. My goal is to get this done for next to nothing. The plywood cost me nothing. The dowels were a few bucks. Your glue, your paint, your obvious ones, wood filler. But I want to be into this thing for less than $125 when I put it up on Marketplace. I'm going to put some little feet on it. Just the little nail-in ones to keep it up off the ground so it doesn't get water damaged again. But it works well. So it's just going to be some cleaning in that. And you know what, for the cost, it might make sense just to do the whole side with a vinyl deck. I'll find something that matches because that color's really nasty. And here's the front of it, and it's a slightly different nasty brown color. Excuse the mess, I'm cleaning up my basement as I'm doing projects. I got, as usual, a whole bunch on the go at once. Yeah, big fucking mess. Welcome back, and we're back at the Pub Time darts machine. I'm gonna chop out the water damage. And for you observant viewers, yes, I am wearing my safest construction slippers, sorry. Okay, so just cut this piece down. Gonna cut here, then I'm gonna chop this to fit, and then it's just gonna be a few dowels in that. Front's gotta be done, and the other side. I'm gonna do them at staggered intervals. At least the top is gonna be, I'm not going to line all the joints up so I don't have a weak spot. So this one I'll go a little shorter, I think. And then these 2 I can do the same length. So just going to chop this, and then I don't know if there's much even holding that anymore. I almost went to cut and I totally forgot to set my depth. So that would have been fairly disastrous because I don't want to cut this far up. If I was just making a whole new base, that would be fine. But I'm going to set this to 3/4 of an inch. And then I'll cut it. I'll come back once that's cut out, and then I'll cut this piece down to fit and just see how the fitment is. Back in a bit. So first cut. Yeah, not much holding that back together. So luckily this inner support is solid, no water damage. It's a little bit higher than the rest, so probably had 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters of water. Okay, so this support needs a groove here. So just traced it on, then I'm gonna set the depth on the miter saw, cut it out, and just give it a quick chisel. Okay, so that's fitting pretty nicely there. It's sticking up on the front, but I'm not gonna cut a notch until I've replaced this bit. So all my structure is still in place up there, so I should be able to chop everything out without anything falling apart. I'm gonna dig up the heat gun and peel this back before I go. No, fuck it. I'm gonna go and do this side. I'll flip it over, do this side the same. And I've got a router, I've got the bits. I just don't have the patience today. Yes, I know that's the best way to do this with a router. You can do that on your miter saw as well. I set the depth. Is it the most beautiful? No. Once it's full of wood glue and glued down to that, nobody will ever notice. A couple brad nails through there, and then I'm doing a vinyl decal over the sides probably. So I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing. I'm not going to bore you with that. And then I'll notch both front sections, both sides to the new front section once that's cut out. But when I come back, I should have all the wood rough cut and yeah, start assembling. Second side cut out. Okay, I got that vinyl pulled back. The CD I actually used for rolling along and peeling it back. Final cut is made. I'm going to trace this out, cut that piece, and then I'm going to line things up. I'm going to notch those two side bits for the front piece now. We'll go from there. I'm going to do another cut here. I'm actually going to trim it up a little higher just because of the warped wood, the saw wouldn't ride nice and smooth. So we'll do another cut there. Well, I've never claimed to be any good at woodwork, but this actually went quite well. So that's not even glued or anything. That's just fit together in the grooves that I cut. So that is friction and gravity holding her together right now. So a little bit of trimming in that. I'm going to file that top edge. I just cannot get it to cut all that nice with that, and I don't think I'm going to break out the router just to clean up the one edge. So a little bit of filing, that's all going to be covered anyways. Back to the half-assed world of woodworking. So I've got this all screwed together. I don't have it screwed down here because I want to glue that. And I'm debating whether I'm doing dowels between these pieces or if I'm just going to take a scrap of wood and put it behind. I mean, the scrap of wood is going to be easier and it's actually going to be stronger with some wood glue and some screws and that behind it. So the dowels would definitely be, I guess, the more professional way to go. It's also a cheap old arcade machine, so it's got to come up a little bit, but I can do that easily with the wood behind. I'm going to cut this down, scab that in, and then I'm going to start gluing and get the last bit screwed. I'm pre-drilling it first and then throwing screws in. Yes, I'm using drywall screws. No, I don't care. All right, back in a bit. Okay, now that it is strong, I got the piece behind there. This is another reason I didn't line up my seams, because this way the sides can screw into the existing material and it will keep it stronger that way. So instead of just scabbing two pieces butt up against each other, so I get to screw to this, I get to screw the side into the front piece here. I get to attach to here, same on that side. I get to screw to this original material. So I've got a good solid base here. I'm just gonna glue up these joints, screw it back together, glue up these joints. That's it. Nothing fancy here, just some glue and screws. I'll come back once it's all glued together. All right, everything is glued, screwed. I'm going to fill those gaps just so the decals not lay flatter. So I'm going to put a cut in here. Oops, I can't fucking film. I'm going to put the cut in here to match this one for the edging. This is going to get cleaned up, probably just some soap and water, maybe a little brake clean. No, brake clean will fuck up the vinyl. Soap and water and a scrubber, and that should get most of this stuff off. And then I'll glue it down. Sides. Just going to fill the sides a little bit just so I don't see any of the screw holes or a little bit of a line there. I'm going to fill that, block it pretty simple, just 120 grit at the finest. Actually, I wouldn't even need that. And then I'm going to put a vinyl decal. I've got some kicking around a brick pattern. And if I don't have enough to do both sides all the way, I'm going to do it about halfway and just line some trim up here, paint it white, and make it look like it is intentional. Then the rest is going to be, that's actually actually about it. There's nothing much to this one. I'll throw a little wood filler on the gap screw holes, but this is my structure on the bottom. I added this back piece. That was not there, but it really ties everything together with that overlap. So I've got it screwed through the original wood, through here to this back piece. So this is just as solid as original. And I need to flush mount these a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to pull that screw out and put a longer one in. So, following the original groove for the T-molding, I just ran my saw up and down, kept her in line. That groove is good enough for what I'm doing. I'm going to do the same on the other side here, but oh, that is just fine for some T-molding here. I'll get the other side, and then I think tonight, when the kiddo's sleeping, I'll work on this, get the glue off of that. Gotta find my file. I might just hit it with the angle grinder and a flap disc tomorrow. Just the slightest little edge here. So I'm gonna saw that, and I'll probably just leave it at that for the night. Just spray that down and soak it. Well, it's been a day or two since I've worked on this, so I've done a little bit here and there, but everything is glued together. Gaps are filled. This is cleaned off as best as I can. Just threw a little filler in that down there just for any spots. I don't think I'm going to have an issue with that. So it's a little rough here just from the wood getting bubbled, but I think once I hit that with a heat gun and roll it out, it'll be just fine. So I'm just waiting for this little touch of wood filler to dry. For this, believe it or not, that turned out to be the easiest damn thing possible. Grab the rusty old saw. Sadly, I don't use a whole lot of hand tools for woodworking. But lined it up and just started like this, and then just worked that line back and back and back. Test fitted the T-molding, and it is dead on. I'm just going to run this through because I threw some filler in. I do have to make a marquee for it, so I'm going to grab some plexiglass, and I'm going to be using my buddy's UV printer. You print on the back side of it, it looks original. It's fantastic stuff. So once this decal is cleaned up here, I'm going to take a picture of this, and then I'm going to cut out the letters. I can do that with Photoshop really nicely. And then I can rearrange it to be a bit bigger for the marquee. And it's honestly about a 10-minute job to print now. So this printer of my buddy's is really going to make my repair and restoration jobs another level. Back with Pub Time Darts. So bottom is all done, very solid, very secure. I decided to do the sides with that this vinyl wrap. Cut those notches, so I'm just gluing the vinyl back down here, but you're not going to be able to see any seam on that. I've cleaned this up as best I can. That is on there. So just gonna put some adhesive down. I'm gonna just, to make it as pretty as possible, I'm gonna mask off the sides there so I don't get any glue on the sides. Fold this back down, and I'm gonna have to give it a good cleaning, probably just with a magic eraser to clean up the scuffs on the decal. And then the bottom part will be done. I'm just gonna do some more vinyl decals on the rest of it, bring it upstairs piece by piece. I got a couple people wanting to come see it, so she's almost done. All right, so decided to throw my little heater on there. It's probably, you can see it a little bit. There's some bumpiness from when it was water damaged down here. So the wood swelled and it sort of stretched the vinyl. So I'm gonna get this nice and warm. Leave that on there for probably 20 minutes. Just a little space heater there. And then in 20 minutes, I'm going to put the glue down and then just take a scraper card, just an old card here. This is, what is this? Confined space or something? I don't know. Respiratory equipment. There you go. And yeah, once that's softened up a bit and I push it down with that, I'm hoping it's going to flatten out. I'm also going to take a piece of some melamine finished, like a cabinet door, something like that, so I can lay that down and put some pressure on it once the glue's down, and hopefully that'll keep it flat as well. So we'll see how this turns out. So this is the machine once it's all been finished up. I forgot to record the last little bit, but the base looks good. The machine functioned perfectly. This is a great little deal. I didn't get the marquee in this picture, I don't think, but I did get it done in the end. It sold very quickly. I made several $100s off it. This was a great project. It was, oh, there you can see the marquee there. I'm obviously recording as I go. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe.